G'day everyone, it's Ant here from Rethink Marketing, and I've got Louise from On Time Admin. We are talking about market segmentation this week. It's an issue which we come across a lot with businesses that are in startup phase, but also in re-evaluation as they look at where they're going and how you're fitting into the market. There are so many different just ways to slice and dice your customer base and the market in general to work out where you fit. How do you see your market segment, Louise?
So my market segment is really, I don't look at industries because I'm not fussy about industries, and I know some people will look at that. I really look at the type of ownership of the business. I'm really looking in my market segmentation at those really small, micro, solopreneur type place, and that's the people I can really connect with, and that's how I approach my business.
There's a lot of different ways you can do it, and what I'm going to do is try and give a really quick breakdown of the five different approaches you can segment your market according to. And we do these sometimes implicitly and sometimes explicitly. So the number one approach, if you live in a regional area that most businesses do, is segment your market by geography. I work with customers. If I've got a retail business, it makes perfect sense because there's no point in having a market segmentation that I'm going to serve everyone in the world if I've got a shop on the corner in Bunbury. So geography, definitely at the top of the list. But you can even within that look at it and say, well, am I servicing people? If a digital business, am I servicing everyone in the world, particular countries, particular states, urban or rural? Because that's actually quite a significant divide, city or town. These are examples of, I guess, the geographical segmentation. So that's the number one and the easiest way of segmenting your market is by location. Very, very rarely, though, do you have everyone in a particular location in your target market. So the next way we do, which is really probably one of the most useful in terms of segmenting your customers, is by psychographics. That's looking at what the characteristics or the personality attributes of the people you want to work with are. So, it could be a lifestyle, for example. Are they an activist type person? Are they an absolute mover on progressive politics? Are they a person who maybe is quite traditional and conservative? What interests do they have? If they're interested in fashion or technology or particular pop culture, what opinions do they have? Are they, leaning one way or the other politically? And even down to what kind of influences are going to engage with them. So you look at it and go, right, what people are the people these people are going to listen to? Because that might actually segment them too. So psychographics are probably the second and arguably perhaps more valuable way of segmenting your customers. A third approach, which I do like, and it takes a bit more work, is looking at your customers in terms of their behavioural segment. This can be, for example, looking at their buyer's journey, where they are in the process. We all, whether you're looking to buy an ice cream or a commercial property, the buyer's journey, when you map that out for your customers, will tell you which people are in which stage of that process. Buyer's journey for an ice cream might be quite short. It's hot today, I'm at the park, I'm feeling like an ice cream. Or in my case, it's cold today, I'm at home, I feel like an ice cream. Actually, pretty much any day I feel like an ice cream.
Any day of the week's good for ice cream.
There's always a good day for an ice cream.
So, Anthony, can I ask a question about that then? In the buyer's journey, if you're in a professional services business, is that an appropriate way to look at something where someone is in their buyer's journey?
Absolutely. So it could be looking at a professional services business that they are before they've reached the point of knowing that they need a service. So they might be just overwhelmed and be struggling with all the workload that they're presented with, in which case you're going to have a separate set of messaging and segmentation for that group of people, as opposed to people who've had a professional service. Let's go with an example of an accountant. I've had an accountant, he's not very good, I'm not happy with the service that I'm getting from him. which puts me in a very different group of people to the group of people who maybe are just starting a business and do I need an accountant to do anything? So those are two very different segments, very different messaging stories that you're going to be presenting to those audiences. And those behavioural segments, there's a lot of other attributes you can look at. Other people, a price-driven market. So you're going to have a bargain hunter group of people as opposed to people who are looking for something which conveys prestige. Are they going to be a one-off customer or a high-volume customer? So professional services, really important there. Are you looking for someone who's looking for a 40-hour-a-week person or someone who's looking for a 40-minute-a-week person? Because if you're, a VA, for example, you're not going to be looking for 5 customers who want 40 hours a week, unless you're looking to be a VA agency and bring in a group of people. And even then, you may look at it and say, that's a negative segment for you. You exactly don't want a 40-hour-a-week person because they're going to look at it and go, well, I could pay for a full-time employee at that rate.
Or they do I'm paying you 40 hours a week, so I own you.
That's it. So, recognising that different markets are going to have, or different people are looking for different levels, that's another important attribute to define your market by. Your demographics are one that most people should be at least loosely familiar with. That's your basic things like your age, your gender, your religion, perhaps, the income brackets, the socioeconomic levels for you, the education of people, perhaps their family size and status. If you're selling a Kia, is it Carnival? Is that the big one?
Minivan.
A minivan? You're going to be looking for families that match a certain size demographic, or at least lean towards that particular direction. If you're selling an SUV, you're targeting everyone. Everyone. A last group, or our fifth group of people, is our media segmentation. And look, often we don't think about this, but our marketing activities are going to be driven in large part by looking at which media platforms our customers are on. And we can't just say social media. We've got to then look at it and say, right, within, is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it Snapchat? Is it TikTok? Is it something else? Is it YouTube? Is it something else altogether different that is a place that we're going to reach our audience? And that actually is a really important way of segmenting out your customers. So that's probably our last way of doing it. The net result is when you dive into all of these things, you're going to have a very, very granular and detailed picture of hopefully multiple markets. Because if you decide to put all your eggs in the one basket, and we'll go through them and say by demographics, men aged between 20 and 24 who are users of Twitch and happen to be located in the city of Bunbury and are at a pre-buying stage for a new four-wheel drive and happen to, put themselves on a left-leaning side of politics, you're going to have a campaign. I've pulled all of our different groups there, a campaign which is really, really connected to that particular audience, which is great because you can deliver a message which is bang on for them.
That's a very obscure audience that you just pulled together there, and it's probably about two people.
You know what? And that's actually one of the big tricks with market segmentation is the smaller, the better, rather than the bigger, the better. The smaller, the better, because the more clearly you can define the people you're looking to talk to, the more accurate the message you're going to be presenting to them are. I would actually always lean towards the minimum viable market rather than the maximum market, because when you get people who you really connect to them, you're going to have something which matters. Too often we see generic 1980s style marketing where it's just blah. It's meant to reach everyone and doesn't reach anyone. So get specific, dive into your segmentation, pull out your five segmentation tips there, and really jump into your customers. It's one message I want to say this week. I've gone on way too long.
Well, I just want to throw in there, that we do have a free download of a one-page marketing and business plan. So this is probably a good idea for you to jump over onto our website, download that document and work out your market segment, because it is a great way to identify who you're going for.
And go back, look at it, refine it, really on a minimum basis of it at least once a year, looking at who your segment are. Use the data you got in your business and get specific is probably the core message I'm looking to share with you.
Yeah, perfect. That's awesome. Let's all get specific this week.
See you later, everyone.
Bye.